Right, just a quick little video. I did a video last week, around about here, on what looked like a little topping pattern in the S&P, and this is how it played out. So it was before the inflation numbers came out, and I was saying how, because they came out like on the 10th or the 11th, 10th, right? Saying how this is just a little pennant flag, kind of whatever you want to call it, at the top, and was saying how there was the momentum was weakening. The RSI was weakening. You can see it here, how it was heavily overbought on the 4-hourly as well, and I think I went down to like the 15-minute as well. So you can see how these things played out. So I wasn't short the S&P. It was like 1 o'clock in the morning Australian time. I was short the Australian share market, which does obviously track the S&P anyway, and it's just a bit easier for me because of the time zones. So I was short short equity risk, which paid off for me, and I squared it up in the equivalent of the Aussie move when it was down there. So you can see the levels where it has come back to is pretty key, right? There is obviously some resistance. There's a bit of a band in here. It had a few goes here. It's come back up. It'll be interesting to see if it follows through or not. It still hasn't kind of quite broken up fully. There's a bit of a range here. So to me, that's where the S&P is. I think I also had, from memory, I had a trend line going up through here, something like that. So you can see on the technicals, that's exactly what it did. So for me, what I had been trading was the Australian futures. As I said, just a bit more kind of familiar with that market. And I stopped out at cashed it in at 73.30, just down here. You can see it was quite a sharp move down. But similar thing in, we had like a bit of a topping pattern here, right? Some people will say, look, this is a bull flag, right? It goes like that. They don't always work out. It's just a pattern that's going to break. And for me, I was more looking at the levels, the hour levels up here, right? Those ones. So when I got up to like 74.50, that's when I was shorting it. I think I sold at 74.30, something like that. Got 100 points out of it, so that was good. 73.30. I've done it a couple of times now, just as it's bounced off those levels. This one was a good one for me because I'd seen it have a stab, hadn't followed through. Saw the S&P looking really quite toppy, and obviously on the correlation, thought that was a good trade for me. So that's just a follow-up to that little story about how I traded that breakdown that I saw. The strength in the US market is just quite crazy, right? It is interesting how that it didn't really follow through, and it has come back. To me, it still looks like it's cycling down from these overboughts, okay? And I'd expect it to come back to there. I'm not sure where that sits on the Fibos. Yeah, that's probably not a bad level. Yeah, right, okay. I think there's a very good chance it's going to go to here and then there. I think that's a topping pattern. To me, that's my rationale. So to me, it looks like it's had its run, okay? You can tell how it's had its run just because of the way this Fibo comes back to a natural retracement. So that wave and that wave have got that Fibo relationship. It's broken this upward trend. It's broken it on the back of a strong RSI on the 4-hourly. It's had a good stab at being overbought on the 4-hourly. It has had quite a good technical pattern in terms of this flag. It was a strong impulsive move down. It's come to test it. To me, I think there's a good chance it's going to go a retracement to there, and possibly there. That's what I'm looking for this week. All right, ciao.